3:45। Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Namaskar. This is Engineer Suraj Singh speaking from Bharat, India. On this day, November 2nd, 2021, Tuesday, around 3:45 AM, मैं हूँ सूरज सिंह, सिविल इंजीनियर, भारत से बोल रहा हूँ। आज नवंबर 2, 2021, मंगलवार, करीब सुबह 3:45 बजे। Talk continues regarding profession of engineering and regarding life, and title is always based on quality and safety. Quality very अभियांत्रिकी, क्वालिटी गुणवत्ता एंड क्वालिटी स्ट्रक्चर, क्वालिटी का ढांचा कैसा हो, और आप कह सकते हैं एनवायरनमेंट, काम करने में सुरक्षा, हेल्थ साफ हो, अच्छी हो, वातावरण साफ हो, डिज़ाइंस कैसे हों, डिज़ाइंस, कंस्ट्रक्शन, निर्माण, मेथड्स, कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स, ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, कम्युनिकेशन, कोऑर्डिनेशन, why always be serious about quality. Very important issue for everyone. निर्माण के बारे में, अपने ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के बारे में, अपने संचार कैसा हो, कोऑर्डिनेशन कैसा हो, तालमेल कैसा हो, डिज़ाइन इन वर्क्स, इन एवरी वर्क, हर काम में ये आवश्यकताएं हैं, चाहे वो काम प्रोडक्शन का हो, इट मे बी प्रोडक्शन, इट मे बी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग, इट मे बी कंस्ट्रक्शन, इट मे बी एल वीडियो लगता है जाने वाला है, वही प्रॉब्लम, सिग्नल्स, 0 वीडियो, 2 फ्रेम्स, लगता है मैंने बेकार बोला है, जाने वाला है। क्यों? सिग्नल्स की प्रॉब्लम, फिर वही, कोई इलाज नहीं मेरे पास, अभी भी 0 शो कर रहा है और शायद बंद होने वाला है 5 मिनट में ही। देखते हैं, चलता है आगे तो ठीक। कुछ सिग्नल्स फिर आए, लेकिन FPS वही। नाउ मैंने आपको सर्टिफिकेट्स दिखाए। आई शो टू यू दिस सर्टिफिकेट्स विच आर ओनली फॉर रेफरेंस। वो चाहे चार्टर्ड इंजीनियर का हो, प्रोफेशनल इंजीनियर का हो, कोई और हो, रेफरेंसेस हैं। अभी मैं उनको बंद करने की कोशिश करूँगा क्योंकि क्वालिटी रिक्वायर्ड एवरीवेयर। कोई जगह नहीं जहाँ क्वालिटी नहीं चाहिए। इट्स रिक्वायर्ड एवरीवेयर इन लाइफ, इन एवरी एक्टिविटी इन लाइफ। इट इज इंजीनियरिंग। We cannot do anything. We cannot do anything without quality input. And if you do something, then it is foolishness. I would say it is foolishness because quality is a part of life. Safety is a part of life. Why should we not bother about quality? हम क्वालिटी से चिंता क्यों ना करें? That is my first question to me, to you, to everyone. Why should I not worry, or why should we not worry about quality when quality is an integrated part of life? Life cannot move without quality. Health cannot move without quality. You may ask a question, how I am talking about health? Yes, I am talking health because of body health as well as society health, as well as health for everybody. We relate health to environment as well as to our society, residences, so how society is living, what type of houses we have, what type of infrastructure we have, how can we move further, how can we advance further. That is an important fact. सच्चाई है। आप दूर भागते हैं, भागिए। You can run away from facts. You can run away from truth. You can say no, this is wrong, you are wrong. There is quality everywhere. Yes, you may say that. आप कह सकते हैं हर जगह क्वालिटी है। इसका मतलब आपने क्वालिटी की जितनी quality cannot be confined, quality cannot be arrested. Quality is free to move. Quality is free to move. It's up to you what way you consider it. For example, I'm not getting signals. This is bad quality of signals. 0 bytes per second, 11 FPS, and anytime. Now it is 26 kbps, 2 FPS, 50 FPS, 604 kbps. It's not constant. It fluctuates very proficiently. It fluctuates, which it should not do. This means this signal's flow, this signal's transmission does not have any quality system. Nobody cares for this, probably. How can you say I'm getting good signals? I cannot say, because it is 0 at the same time it's 200 kbps and sometimes maybe 1 mbps. Now it is 0. It means that there should be some question mark. One should question itself to make sure that quality exists. Now we always say here in this file, that. गुणवत्ता हर काम में आवश्यक. क्वालिटी इज एसेंशियल इन एवरी वर्क. सुरक्षा बिना सब काम बेकार. एंड विदाउट सिक्योरिटी, विदाउट श्योरिटी, विदाउट सेफ्टी, everything is useless. It is production, it is industry, or it is construction, whatever it is. Everywhere it's required. Safety, health and environment required everywhere. During manufacturing, in processing, and in all construction activities, and also during use of products and whatever services where is Shakti उपयोग. Then we can say गुणवत्ता की आवश्यकता हर कार्य में. क्वालिटी इज एसेंशियल इन एवरी वर्क. गुणवत्ता अभियंताओं के हाथ में है तथा उन्हें इसको लागू करना होगा. क्वालिटी लाइज इन हैंड्स ऑफ इंजीनियर्स एंड दे हैव टू अप्लाई, दे हैव टू इम्प्लीमेंट. क्वालिटी हैज टू बी कंप्लाइड विद डिफाइंड, स्पेसिफाइड, स्टेटेड रिक्वायरमेंट्स. Within ambit of work, designed valid specifications. Within ambit of work, designed valid specifications, quality ranges in elaborations. Within ambit of work, designed valid specifications, quality ranges in elaborations. Depending on indicative descriptions. And 3, there exists no unlimited scope of quality criteria to be carried out. अब ये तो एक्सप्लेनेशन है भाई, हम किसको भी दे सकते हैं, आपको भी दे सकते हैं. Important point is we define ourselves something, and engineering, in works, in contracts, we specify so much. If you see some international contracts or other contracts, I should not say national or international now because contracts are contracts and engineering is engineering. Engineering cannot be said that this is our engineering, this is your engineering. हम ये नहीं कह सकते हमारी इंजीनियरिंग है या आपकी इंजीनियरिंग है, ये भारत की इंजीनियरिंग है या ये इंग्लैंड की इंजीनियरिंग है. इंजीनियरिंग तो इंजीनियरिंग है, इट्स नॉट डिफरेंट. इंजीनियरिंग इज यूनिफॉर्म ऑल ओवर वर्ल्ड. दैट्स अ फैक्ट ऑफ लाइफ. You cannot say what concrete we put here, we put different concrete in some other country. You cannot say that. Concrete यहाँ कुछ है वहाँ कुछ है, ये नहीं कहा जा सकता. स्टील का सरिया यहाँ कुछ है वहाँ कुछ है, ये नहीं कहा जा सकता. प्रॉपर्टीज में फ़र्क हो सकता है. देयर कैन बी डिफरेंस इन प्रॉपर्टीज वेरिएशंस because of classification, categorization that is everywhere around the world. Now what we accept or what we define, that's up to us depending on our budget and depending on our requirement. हमारे खर्चे कितने करने हैं, हमारा बजट क्या है, हमारी आवश्यकताएँ क्या हैं, उसको समझने के लिए हमको अपना बजट बनाना है. उसी हिसाब से क्वालिटी सिलेक्शन होता है. We have to define our sub level of quality, profile of quality, what we expect, what we intend to get on that structure depending on what we want to do. It doesn't mean that it is the engineering is different. No, it's not. Engineering is same because just like health is same, engineering is same. Engineering does not relate to country. It doesn't relate to state. It doesn't relate to means natural materials are used in engineering, so it's uniform. You have to understand this fact. And that's why I say engineering is worldwide same. Engineering relates to life, and life relates to engineering indirectly. If we say quality of life, what does it mean? You say quality of life, for quality, then life comprises of everything. It relates to your house, it relates to your work environment, it relates to how and what facilities you get in life, what standard of living you have. And the standard is also defined by ourselves only. Nobody from skies come and define standards. हमारे स्टैंडर्ड्स क्या हो, कैसे हो, ये हमें खुद ही समझने हैं, कोई हमें बताएगा नहीं. लेकिन if there is no quality, there is no future. That's also true. So our certificates, as I say, our identification, this announce something. This announce that we have some competency We have standards, we have some capability, and we have to turn ourselves with a key that move our life. Just like we say turnkey projects, we should say turnkey life. Can we say that? My life is so important, it's so significant, it's so qualitative that just use it. That is only in theory, not in practical. And that's why I say quality system is a must. A system doesn't mean what is there. What actually is done, that is system. What is defined in documents, that's not system, that's just proposal. What we define in documents based on which we say, okay, we are going to work in quality in this system. This is our profile of systems, the construction of systems, our structure of system. ये हमारा सिस्टम कागजों में है, ये हमारी किताब है जिसके हमने अप्रूवल दी है, हम ऐसा काम करेंगे, ये हमारा तरीका है, तौर तरीका है, वो कागज में है. दैट्स इन पेपर्स एंड डॉक्यूमेंट्स. एंड डॉक्यूमेंट्स इज नॉट सिस्टम. डॉक्यूमेंट्स जस्ट इंडिकेटर ऑफ सिस्टम. This is a system we are going to operate. But are we going to do that? Saying we will operate and operating are two issues. Yes, if we can say we operate that and we improve on that, that's fine. We have something in mind. We have to transmit that information onto documents, and that's called writing or whatever else. And then to follow up what's written on that, what's given on that, that's called quality system. Simply writing a book, simply writing some procedure, simply writing something in books, that is not quality system. That is an announcement only, based on which, yes, but your quality system shall be evidenced by how your product is working. Ultimately, aim of quality is product. What product you deliver, that should be quality product. System is not product. System is an organization. एक ढांचा है सिस्टम. सिस्टम ये गारंटी नहीं देता, हाँ एश्योरेंस देता है, रिक्वायरमेंट है हमारी. लोग कहते हैं क्वालिटी एश्योरेंस, मैं क्वालिटी एश्योरेंस नहीं मानता. एश्योरेंस नाम की कोई चीज़ बिलीव नहीं की जा सकती. हमारी आवश्यकता पूरी कीजिए, यू फुलफिल आवर रिक्वायरमेंट, एंड दैट इज़ व्हाट इज़ रिक्वायर्ड, दैट इज़ व्हाट इज़ एसेंशियल. क्वालिटी एश्योरेंस इज मिसनॉमर, इट शुड बी क्वालिटी रिक्वायरमेंट. मेरी ये आवश्यकता है, पूरी कीजिए. या बेचने वाला कहे मैं आपको ये बेच रहा हूँ, ये गारंटी से कह रहा हूँ, उसके अंदर ये है. सेलर शुड गारंटी समथिंग अबाउट क्वालिटी and buyer should demand something about quality. There is equal relation. Both are equal parties. Seller is party 2 and buyer is party 1. Buyer is a consumer, party 1, who pays money to buy something to seller who sells something, and that is relation. What is sold is product or service, or you can say goods. Goods are sold. Goods means products. Products are sold. If that product does not meet my requirement, or it does not meet what requirements have been announced on product or labeled on product, then I can say there is something deficient in quality. There is something defect in quality, you can say. Defect doesn't mean it is seen. No, it's not that. Means this product was designed to move along with procedure, and final shape, final use of that product does not meet that requirement, which was questioned, which was demanded. So we can say it doesn't meet that requirement. What we have to very long. Be happy with written document. That's not my outlook. And also AnnexSL that I'm showing to you, that's not my profile at final stage. This is only a format, you can say like a form, that there are 10 clauses from scope, I mean to say from clause 1, that is scope, to clause improvement at last. There are so many in between important clauses like norms, like terms, like you can say leadership or planning. Likewise, you can see many others, resources, supports, improvements, etc., etc., which are just categorized so that we can define ourselves. And that is where we should, at least, that's milestone or destiny. What is product? My destiny is to get a good product. That's my milestone, because I am going to use this product in exchange of something, and that is cost of this product. Well, I'm not talking of cost here, but reference is given, cost reference. We cannot go without that. Ultimately, when I spend cost, it contains that it gives that I should get return of this cost. And I pay this cost because I believe you that you shall give me something that meets my requirement. And that product is not you, it's your service, and that is product which I buy, that should have that quality input confirmed. Previously we used to say that ISO 9001 or quality system does not guarantee any quality of product. It guarantees only implementation of system. I don't accept this, and now it's not accepted in fact, because if system is operative successfully, if system operates, if system works, it should give quality product. If it does not work, it cannot give. Simple answer is that. And our system is operated by whom? System is operated by human resources, by people, by workers, all workers. And of course, workers have varying approaches, varying commitment, dedication, but the average line is always taken. That's called profile of people should be minimum at this one level. And that's why we say every job that is invited for recruitment, a job description is given. This is your job description. This means we require this description, and tests are conducted, examination are taken, or interviews are conducted, whatsoever we can have a mandate, yes, this person is fit for this. And we usually say in organizational controls that it's right man for right job. That's only saying, but performance is always different. It is first requirement in whatever system that we should have personnel who are committed. Committed means what they say they do. If they are committed, this means what they are asked to do and they accept to do, and that is systematic flow. The system that we are talking, they know what system they are working with under, and that must be affected, that must be complied with. जिस सिस्टम में हम काम कर रहे हैं वो सिस्टम में हमें काम करना पड़ेगा, जो हमें बताया गया है, जिसको हमने माना है, एम्प्लॉइज होने की वजह से या कंपनी का जो भी होने की वजह से, उस सिस्टम को हमको अपनाना पड़ेगा, उसमें फ्लो करना पड़ेगा। सिस्टम बनाने का बात नहीं है, या सिस्टम तो बन जाएगा, हम पढ़े लिखे लोग हैं, समझते हैं, एक्सपीरियंस भी है। सिस्टम लिखना बड़ी बात नहीं है। जिस तरह से हम कहते हैं मेथड स्टेटमेंट तो हम लिख देंगे, लेकिन मेथड स्टेटमेंट लिखने के लिए तो टेक्निकल नॉलेज चाहिए, सिस्टम लिखने के लिए तो कुछ भी नहीं चाहिए, बस यही फ़र्क है। सिस्टम तो पॉलिसी है एक तरह की, जो हमने पहले दिखाई, एक पॉलिसी है जी हमारी, पहले लिखते हैं क्वालिटी इज़ माई पॉलिसी एंड कस्टमर सेटिस्फैक्शन इज़ माई पॉलिसी, ये पहले लिखा जाता था. इफ़ यू सी रिमेंबर पास्ट टाइम्स, we used to say customer satisfaction is my motto, it's my target, it's my policy, it's my this and it's my that. It's only a trend. If you write something in this way, others will write to please those authorities who shall come to you in capacity as third party, and they would see, okay, your statement is very right, I agree with that. You practice this one for 2 years, we'll audit again and see whether or not you have applied that. That's a question mark. Means reading a system, understanding that, and monitoring that by random audit, you can say system is being followed. It's a very shortcut method. And I don't mind that also, because you are third party, you have no direct interest in that. You have no direct interest, that's true. But I am not third party. I am a party number one in contract, because I am buying this. I buy this. मैंने ये खरीदना है भाई. आप तीसरी पार्टी हो सकते हैं, आपका कोई सीधा इसमें संबंध नहीं है. आपने तो खाली ये देखना है कि ये सिस्टम काम कर रहा है कि नहीं कर रहा है. लेकिन मेरा तो दूसरी अप्रोच है. मुझे तो पैसा देना है, मुझे ये चीज़ खरीदनी है, मुझे इसको यूज़ करना है. मेरा डायरेक्ट इन्वॉल्वमेंट है, क्योंकि मेरे साथ इसका कॉन्ट्रैक्ट है. मैं ये चीज़ खरीद रहा हूँ, तो मुझे ज़्यादा नुकसान होगा. आपके ऑडिट की क्या वैल्यू? ऑडिट तो मैंने करना है, मैंने देखना है कि ये चीज़ कितनी सही है. और मैं यूज़र हूँ, एंड यूज़र हूँ, कंज्यूमर हूँ. आई एम ए कस्टमर, आई एम एंड यूज़र, आई एम कंज्यूमर. It's my duty, it's my right to make sure whatever I have paid, whatever I have been assured that you will get your requirement fulfilled, I want to see that requirement is fulfilled. And that is real test. If that requirement is not fulfilled, your material, your audit go meaningless. Your audits go meaningless because you did not guarantee me with product qualifications. You just said, yes, we assure you this system is working. And that's where problem lies in. It's duty of every auditor, it's duty of manufacturer to deliver quality. Defined quality, mandated quality, agreed quality. I'm not asking gold in return of silver. Am I not asking diamond in return of soil? That is only in phrases. If you just put your hands in soil, you get gold. That's only phrase or idioms, or you can say an imagination in life. कल्पना होती है जी मिट्टी में हाथ डालने सोना आ गया. But that is not contract. Contract is I pay you something, you give me something, and that's it. Simple answer. That is why question of quality arises. Quality का बात क्यों उठता है? गुणवत्ता के आगे क्यों बात आती है? आनी नहीं चाहिए अगर लोग ठीक होते. If people had been fine, this question of quality requirement would not have been generated. It has been generated because there is some problem in quality. Quality, some engineer wrote on some SAFE format that quality has been given back seat. I respect that statement and that engineer, because it is difficult to speak truth, but there are people who can speak truth. सच्चाई बोलने में डर लगता है बहुतों को, पता नहीं क्यों. किससे डरते हैं भाई? ट्रूथ कैन नॉट बी डिफीटेड. रिमेंबर, सच्चाई आप दबा नहीं सकते हैं, आप जितने मर्जी बड़े आदमी क्यों ना हो. आप भगवान भी बन जाएं तब भी आप सच्चाई नहीं छुपा सकते. इवन इफ यू एक्ट लाइक गॉड, यू कैन नॉट हाइड ट्रूथ. यस, instantly you can play with that. You can play with truth. You can make fake statements. But remember, fake is fake, false is false. Non-existence is non-existence, and existence is existence. Existence is truth. Non-existence is not truth. Quality is a requirement and it's a truth. Think of, अगर भगवान हमारे शरीर को ऐसा ही बना दे जैसा क्वालिटी हम बनाते हैं, आपका क्या होगा? सोचिए. अगर आपके माइंड को टेढ़ा लगा दिया जाए, आपके एक पैर को सर के ऊपर लगा दिया जाए, कहने का मतलब है क्वालिटी का कंज्यूमर निकाल दिया जाए शरीर का, क्या करेंगे आप? शुक्र मनाइए भगवान का कि भगवान का डिज़ाइन चेंज नहीं होता एंड कीप्स ऑन क्वालिटी सिस्टम इंटैक्ट। हमें लेसन लेना चाहिए। वी शुड टेक नॉलेज, वी शुड गेट नॉलेज from results of God's actions. God has such a perfect quality, consultant quality, operator, quality designer. That system is system. We can learn from that. Whole universe is also a kind of good. पूरा ब्रह्मांड एक तरह का सिस्टम है। थिंक ऑफ दिस, सोचिए जरा। If we cannot learn from it, we cannot learn from elsewhere. Our degree books cannot teach us, but nature teaches us. We cannot see teacher there, but nature itself is a teacher. We should not forget whatever materials we get, we use for whatever activity we do in life, it has direct relation to material sources we get from nature. We don't have our own sources. This earth is our source, and earth means economy. People do not understand this fact. Economy is earth dependent. Economy does not come from skies. Support comes from skies. Support to earth comes from sky, through sun, through air, and through whatever else means objectives, I can say, sources are there. We have to understand this fact. Just in race of madness, you can say we want to make more profit, we want to utilize this and that. Actually, we have spoiled quality everywhere because of our greed, because of our avarice. We have spoiled quality of air, we have spoiled quality of waters, and in fact we have spoiled quality everywhere in our life, because air, water, and whatever else directly impact on our health. They can impact good as well as they can impact bad. There was a time when air was very refreshing, it was very pure, and those people enjoyed it. And now air is so dirty, polluted, putrefied that we cannot enjoy life. And that has impacted minds of everyone. सबके दिमाग पे पॉल्यूशन ने, गंदी क्वालिटी ने, सिस्टम ने बेड़ा गर्क कर दिया है। माइंड की सोचने की शक्ति कम हो चुकी है, कंप्यूटर के आने से और कम हो गई है। भगवान ने जो कंप्यूटर बनाया था माइंड, वो बेचारा देखता रहता है और वो फेल हो जाता है क्योंकि हम उसको एक्टिवेट नहीं करते। वी डोंट कीप आवर माइंड्स एक्टिवेटेड, empowered, and that's the result of loss of quality. Individual involvement amounts to highest factor, highest degree, which must be respected. But individuals are now not that high profile level. I cannot measure value of individuals in terms of degrees or diplomas. It should be seen in work done by them, whoever it is. Quality relates to knowledge of work. It relates to how do you work, what is your status, what is your involvement, commitment, obligation, sincerity, regularity, system, and everything. System is not a line, it's not a chart, it's not just few sentences. No, that is only indicative. As I say, I have written this AnnexSL. Okay, this is just indication what we are going to do, but it is not masterpiece. It's not permanent. We cannot change it. It's up to us. We thought and we did it. Structure of quality, application, quality involvement. We call it AnnexSL according to ISO 9001:2015, and we use contracts of FIDIC form like Red Book, which relates to design given by engineer or by owner and construction carried out by contractor. Same way, silver is FIDIC, in which case design and constructions are carried out or done by contractor. Same way, white book, yellow book, other books we will discuss later on. We have to realize this fact. If we cannot realize this fact, we cannot do anything, then we run away from engineering world. Despite being engineers, we run away from world. We cannot bind ourselves unknowingly with fake world. Engineering is a real requirement, even though we are not engineers, but engineering works with us, it moves with us. Everyone is related to the engineering and that's fact of life. अभियांत्रिकी के बिना जीवन नहीं चल सकता. अभियांत्रिक जीवन का हिस्सा है और जीवन अभियांत्रिकी का हिस्सा है. हम जो खाना खाते हैं वो एग्रीकल्चर से आता है. वट एवर वी टेक whatever food we take, it's power, it's product of agricultural engineering, and we call it agricultural engineering because agricultural food, agricultural product is also engineering based, scientific based, application based. Though there is input from nature for everything, same way there is input for nature for all other issues, all other things. This may be for construction, this may be for industrial production, it may be for some destruction or something else. Even destructive items like bombs we have, those are all products of engineering materials which we extract or explore from earth. We have to keep in mind that there are two domains of world. One is health, that's medical science, and other one is wealth, and that is engineering science. I call engineering science wealth because it is wealth, it is asset. It's engineering that converts natural materials, natural sources into acceptable wealth that we call assets. Engineering means production of health, medical means if we are wealthy, wealthy doesn't mean you should have money. We are wealthy because we have every answer to our requirement. We fulfill everyone. Country's wealth, nation's wealth, world wealth. It's not something we earn. It is something we use. We have our own earth economy, and that economy means whatever we are able to get from earth, we count that as part of economy. हमारी दुनिया की अर्थव्यवस्था, देशों की अर्थव्यवस्था इस जमीन से चलती है. जमीन में जो भी है हम उसको निकाल के यूज़ करते हैं, खाते हैं या प्रोडक्ट बनाते हैं और उसी से मेजरमेंट करते हैं कि हमारी इकोनॉमी ये है, आपकी ये है. वो एक भ्रम जाल में फंसे हैं हम. ए डिसेप्टिव वर्ल्ड, a world which is not real. Economy can never change because wealth is same. It's same way if I say I built this house 20 years back, people say like that, or 30 years back, at that time value of this house was that much, this much amount, X amount. And now after a period of 20 or 30 years, it has become 10x or 20x. We can say like that. But we should not forget that whatever materials were consumed in this building is still it is same. There has been no change. Maybe there is addition on that by application of maintenance, painting, this and that. What I am to say is quantum is same, material is same, only cost difference is there because our cost is not fixed, value of currency is not fixed. In fact, there is no enhancement. इसको आप एनहांसमेंट कह नहीं सकते कि इसका रेट बढ़ गया, इसकी वैल्यू बढ़ गई है. Keep in mind that that's only the relative increase, not real increase. That's what I say. Quality cannot change. Quality is permanent. Quality cannot fluctuate. And that should be our policy to understand quality. Books में but it's very difficult to do something, and that's what I'm trying to say here. I don't know what to say about that, but if you watch that, in this case, I try to show what I'm doing here, and that is, see, we talk of something and that design is specific. I'm not going to read all this, but I'm just trying to share with you what I'm talking of. You see, in engineering, design is very important. We cannot run away from this fact. Design is very important, and design means a start of engineering. And before design, there is concept, there is vision, there exists dream. You can say vision is same as dream. Vision is based on intellectualism, while dream is based on something that's not in your control. You can convert that dream into your vision. Yes, that's true. What can we view means this scientific is physical. View means we and vision are same. If you view something by mind without even having physical presence, called vision. हमारी दृष्टि में क्या दिखता है, हम क्या करना चाहते हैं, क्या हम बनाना चाहते हैं, हमारा डिज़ाइन क्या होगा, ये एकदम नहीं आते. ये भी आहिस्ता आहिस्ता इन पार्ट्स आते हैं और हम इसको लेते हैं. हर आदमी व्यू में जीता है, हम भी व्यू में जीते हैं. हम भी सपने लेते हैं, आप भी लेते होंगे. सपना लेना कोई गलत नहीं है. इंजीनियरिंग इटसेल्फ इज ए ड्रीम. अगर आप देखें, हम जब इंजीनियरिंग की स्टडी करते हैं, स्पेशली in civil engineering, we have theory of structure, we have also designs, structural designs. Theory we call it when we say structures are to be understood. Means how can you understand behavior that structure would give. Structure means ढांचा, skeleton. Just like we have in our bodies bones structure, anatomy we call it. Same way we have structures in every aspect, in every product of engineering. Structures, I'm not saying which type of structures, I'm saying structures. It can be of whatever material. That structure should behave in a unit way. You cannot say that this has beam, column, slabs, walls, foundations. Yes, they are separate units for purpose of understanding, but assembly of all this works together in an integrated way. ये संपूर्ण मेंबर सदस्य जो हम कहते हैं, बीम्स, कॉलम, स्लैब्स, ये वो, ये सब अलग अलग काम नहीं करते, एक साथ काम करते हैं. But when we study elementarily in our education of engineering, we have to study them from start separately. This is your slab, how to calculate about this. Same way about columns and all other beams, etc. To understand, and we have to understand their functions, how these could behave, and that should be. It's not necessary. By experiments, by research, we know that they behave accordingly. It's long process of construction, and before that long process of design, and before design, it's a long process to understand how shall this behave. A structure cannot tell us what way it shall behave. It can work, it can only give theory to us. We got theory because from structures there might have been failures in long back when there was no engineering, or engineering was in evolution stage. This happened and that happened, or this failure and that failure. By trial and errors, engineering came up. That's the reason I'm talking of quality. Because when engineering comes up, quality automatically comes up. Both work together. They cannot be different. Engineering means material, quantity, and its composition, which is quality. Quality plus quantity, or you can say quantity and quality, both are same. I cannot say this quantity of this product and this is quality of this product. Quality cannot be separated from quantity. It's inbuilt. Only understanding and identification matters. Now what do we say? We say field engineering. Somebody understands this term field engineering as if it's site engineering. I'm not talking of site engineering. I'm talking of engineering field. Field, it's like, you are playing something. It says I'm fielding. Okay. Engineering is site fielding. It is life fielding. It is earth fielding. It's not just go to field. No. Wherever you are, whatever work you are doing, that is your field of work. But this field lies itself in a field of engineering. Domain or field here means almost same. Engineering means if you have to identify yourself, I am civil engineer, I am mechanical engineer, I am this top level and that top level, your work should sell that. Not you, not your piece of certificate paper. Your work should announce that. We know sun not because of sun's diameter or sun's small. We know sun because it impacts on us. In hot, it impacts on us, and when it's too cold, it gives us relief. And when it's too hot, it doesn't give us relief, but impacts on everyone adversely. That is what is required. If I'm not pleased with some product, I want to feel happy by using that product. But if some product is good, it meets my requirement, it helps me, I certainly respect that product. And that's where quality means is. Every time you think differently and you find differently, because quality and safety is different here though, because safety is for safe working, but quality is for working as well as for future. You cannot say bad quality gives future. Yes, bad quality of course gives bad future, annoying future, and that's where problem lies in. Money earning is one part. Money earning, making profit is one part, but that is not actual part. If you go to contracts, we find many, you can say many parts in contracts, right? We find many parts in contracts. We use so many terminologies and we say here, example, we had gone to these terms: joint venture, laws, currencies, no objection notice, permanent works, provisional sums reviews, okay, schedules. Alright, we have gone up to this, I think. What this terminology means. This terminology is only a structure of various terminologies, various terms, because in contracts, when we deal with contracts, we deal with such terms. And these terms are important from various points of view, because quality of contract depends upon what is contract structure. We say quality of work, simultaneously we should say quality of contract. Because contract is also a kind of definition. It's different kind of definition and different vista of contract. There are millions and millions of contracts all around, but some are spoken contracts while others are not spoken contract. They are spoken by different names. For example, traveling, you are traveled by whatever means. You buy a ticket. That ticket is a contract. You purchase some item from market. That purchase for whatever long duration that product is going to stay, it's a contract. You utilize some service. That service utilization itself is a contract. But those are not that powerful because people don't fight for them. It's a small amount sometimes good amount, and because of warranties included, because of guarantees included, you can say disputes of contracts are minimized to whatever extent. But question is not disputes here, question is of quality. That's important. These contracts, purpose of this contract is same. We have to define ourselves. We have to charter ourselves. When I say charter means we have to authorize ourselves on contracts. There are two parties. One is called party 1 and one is called party 2. Party 1 and party 2, by whatever procedure, by whatever method, they agree together that based on contents of this document, we are going to do this work. Of course, this contract means it's not that we have to be bound by this contract, but for purpose of that work which relates to this contract, we are bound. Both are bound physically and financially. That is liability, that's accountability, you can say, which can be by force of law applied, enforced. By force of law means by force of controls, by force of legal controls, that condition of contract can be applied, and if that condition of contract is not functional, is not in line to legal requirement, then that condition becomes inoperative. आपको समझ आ रहा है कॉन्ट्रैक्ट क्यों होता है? कॉन्ट्रैक्ट इसीलिए किया जाता है दो व्यक्तियों के बीच में, या किसी भी बॉडीज़ के बीच में, या एम्प्लॉयर और ठेकेदार के बीच में। ये हम दोनों बंधे हैं इस कॉन्ट्रैक्ट के अधिकारों से जो हमने स्वयं को दिए हैं। एक्चुअली दीज राइट्स आर ट्रांसपायर्ड between both parties and of course under some law, and that is contract law. एक दूसरे से बंधते हैं अपनी इच्छा से, कोई ज़बरदस्ती नहीं. There is no force of compulsion. There is no force that can say no, you have to do this. It's business of both party 1 and party 2 that they tie together for certain scope of work, and that work has to be done in certain fixed time, and when it is done in certain fixed time, payment is to be made by party 1 to party 2, by employer to contractor, and within that same period contractor has to deliver back to owner whatever scope of work demands. That's his real implication of contract. हम दोनों ने माना, हम जो दी है डिस्क्रिप्शन इसके हिसाब से काम करेंगे, ठेकेदार उसके हिसाब से काम करेगा, और ज़रूरत पड़ी तो एम्प्लॉयर्स को सपोर्ट करेगा, और उसके बदले में उस समय जो इस कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में दिया है उसी के भीतर ये काम होगा, उसी के अंदर, और ये जो भी हमने माना है, एग्री किया है, हम आपको ये काम करके देंगे, जिसके बदले में आप हमें इतनी पेमेंट देंगे. दिस इज़ वेरी नॉर्मल कॉमन सेंस डेफिनेशन, and that common sense definition has been enlarged, elaborated into full-fledged format, and that's called FIDIC, silver or red or whatever it is. Now that is, you can say, very simple definition. And that definition is everything. It is not necessary that you have to write all these contract clauses if both are committed, if both are honest. But because it doesn't happen, again I say, assurance is not answer. This contract itself is not assurance, it's a requirement. We have to understand difference between assurance and requirement. Requirement is a mandate. Assurance is a promise. Promise does not work in real world. Assurance does not work in real world. Mandate works. There's a difference. Compulsion works. If I say I have to give you this, means it is. I have to give that. I don't assure you in contract. No, I can't assure you. Yes, if there is no contract, it's something different. I say, okay, I may try. In contract way, we cannot say I may try. That is not my charter. I cannot charter it. You cannot accept it. And something you say, I cannot accept that. Means we cannot mutually authorize each other perfectly for assurance, but for requirement. When contract is a requirement, you try to understand what I am saying. When contract is a requirement, it cannot be equated to assurance. In quality system, it was assurance long back. That dominated system, but now assurance has been brought down to different level. It has become assurance for requirement, because that is a system. We structure ourselves, whatever organization we have, we structure ourselves into that mandated requirement. We have to do it, but for which we have to assure that by adopting this way, by adopting this sequence, by adopting this methodology or company policy, we can get this requirement done. That is different. But people still say requirement, or they are confused. Product cannot be assured. Product which I deliver to you, it must work or I withdraw it. Either it should work, or if I find that I could not fulfill that requirement, there has been some lapse in that, in design or in production, in that case responsibility goes to me to withdraw it from customer and fit it, refit it, retrofit it, or replace it. Whatever I think is best for my reputation, best for my goodwill, and also best for customer. Both best should apply. Customer satisfaction, we say, is first requirement. Even if customer doesn't say that, but it means that. Everybody is customer. Everybody. You have some customer, you have some customer. Your customer when go to market to buy something, or you buy some service, you avail some service, yours customer. That point we cannot defy. We cannot defy that point. Everybody is a customer, sometimes or other time. And our contract is clear mandate of that. It may be construction contract, it may be design and construction contract, or it may be some other contract, service contract, or only design contract. What we get is contract means both parties are bound together by whatever terms and condition contract contains, provided that conditions content should not contravene provision of laws. Provision of laws, which means provisions of contract law, and before that provision of public policy in whatever nation, and of course provisions of all the laws like laws of environment or whatever laws apply onto that contract, whatever laws apply. And we have to understand this point clearly in the world of contracting. They have seen excellent engineers who can understand contracting world, and there are many majority of engineers, particularly civil, they do not intend to have thorough knowledge of contract. They do not try to realize that contract itself is engineering professional field. It's not law field. No. Law is used only to enrich its language. Law is involved only to make it in a way that it looks legal document, but its spirit, its soul, its physique, all in combination do not make it contract. Otherwise this legal language is not a contract. Total content of this contract, the scope of work we define in this contract, the specifications that we define in this contract, and whatever applications we have to do, quantity that we have to do, rate that we have to do with, all these are contract parts. It's not colorful language, that's only communication for confirmation, but it's contents of that contract that impact directly on work. We have to realize this point. It is engineering subject. What we are going to do, what relations we have to create between contractor and employer and public and contractor. These relations must be set right, and that is what contract says. It's not simply we can just run away from, oh, this is legal documents, let lawyer take care of this. That is not demanded by contract. What is demanded is it going to work for this application in a qualitative and quantitative way? That is required. This point we have to be clear with, we have to understand this very well, and only that generates these conditions, these terminologies that we are dealing with. All these meanings of these terms, these are not pleasing, don't please me or you, but these are requirements. In this case, what is the name of this person, what is the name of this position, what is the name of this machine, what is procedure in contract. Contract is do this project, what do you want to do? And these are all controls, you can say. Conditions of contract are controls. We have conditioned ourselves to work in this way, under this umbrella of contracts, because it's not that you are telling me or I'm telling you. It's not that here. It is agreement. We have to agree together. Even if we are relatives, it's question of public. My being relative to you would not solve a problem. It is public requirement. Even though it's a private job, but it is people's job. If a structure falls, even a private owned structure falls, it impacts on public. It goes to impact of public. We have to be clear. Therefore, contract has a duty to save that public from bad impacts of this contracted project. That's what is there. Therefore, nothing is private. Ownership may be private, but not originality. No material is ownership. It's God's material. Whatever we use whatever is given to us. Therefore, we have to understand contract soul, contract spirit in actual requirement way. It should lead to good product, and that's also a part of quality of contract. When we say quality of contract means it's not what is given to me by FIDIC. No. FIDIC has also experience. They thought something, maybe they changed previous one. But whatever is current, whatever is in force, or whatever we agree to have force in, to enforce, that must be implied for application. It's very difficult to understand such contract methodology. Contract composition is no methodology. What is intended to be included in contract, so that what we want to do, we do it without entering into disputes. And disputes generally happen because of misinterpretations, misconstruction, and misunderstanding of contract contents. We can define whatever terminology, that's not a different issue. We can sequence out conditions, we can sequence out plus and minus, we can sequence out contract data, we can refine every aspect of contract. But we should not forget that it's not a football or cricket game. It's reality that we have to do. We cannot say after entering into contract, this work cannot be done because of this. Because condition should have said that. But there is no such condition. You have signed in that I will not do this work. You have signed in, I would do every work that is included on this contract as well as on its associated supports, associated documents. Many of them are clear to you, maybe some are not clear. Let me go reverse way now, just to be very fast on this. It says year means 365 days, everybody knows, nothing wrong with that. Year means 365 days, and works means permanent works and temporary works, or either of them as appropriate. Work, when it says, of course it is work for which we may, for which we pay. That's permanent work, but permanent work is based on preparatory works and it's based on temporary works. परमानेंट काम जो हमने कर रहे हैं वो काम क्या है? परमानेंट काम में हमें पहले तैयारी करनी होती है, उसको हम बोलते हैं प्रिपरेटरी वर्क, और प्रिपरेटरी वर्क को करने के लिए हमें तैयारी करनी होती है जिसको हम बोलते हैं टेम्पररी वर्क। टेम्पररी वर्क जो हमें काम करने के बाद हटा देने होते हैं। प्रिपरेटरी वर्क भी काम करने के बाद जब वो काम पूरा हो जाए उसको हटाना होता है। टेम्पररी वर्क एक यूनिफॉर्म सिस्टम है जो हर जगह काम आएगा, कुछ क्षण के लिए, कुछ दिनों के लिए, और फिर वहाँ से हटाना है। वी हैव टू रिमूव दैट फ्रॉम साइट और फ्रॉम लोकेशन व्हेन इट्स पर्पस इज ओवर। इसलिए थोड़ा क्लियर हो जाए, टेम्पररी वर्क, प्रिपरेटरी वर्क एंड परमानेंट वर्क, and of course follow up of permanent works like removal of shutters or whatever is required that won't form a permanent part of work. Then we can say variation. Variation itself means, English word you can say vary. Variation means changes to work. changes to works, and unforeseeable means which we cannot see, means we cannot see something would happen, but an experienced contractor sees everything to happen, but sometimes even that experienced contractor can fail to understand what shall happen. So that is called unforeseeable. And we know time for completion, it's very important clause, it's very important contract condition or provision, you can say. Time for completion of work or a section of work under whatever condition of time for completion as stated in contract data, and may be extended under some other conditions, and this is counted from date of appointment or commencement of work, commencement of contractor, whatever is agreed upon, and that you can say it's called time for completion, which means we have to deliver that work under contract on that day or before that day. Now, test of a student, test of a trainee, or test of material, or test of works. Test and test. Test and contest, Now, test on completion means what? What is specified in contract? We have to test accordingly. Whatever is specified in procedures or in codes, we have to test accordingly. Both parties are bound by that. Whatever both agree on procedures, that is what is to be tested. Or by further agreement, they can test for additional requirements. Normal or common requirements are mandated automatically, but additional requirements can also be agreed upon. For even for that, if it's required, if it's necessary, additional payments may also be made. That depends. So tests on completion, therefore we can say tests which are specified in contract or agreed by both parties or instructed as a variation, which are carried out under test on completion clause before works or a section, as case may be, are taken over under which means tests, if any or if required, which are stated in specification and which are carried out in accordance with special provisions after works or a section, as case may be, are taken over under employers taking over. Now, tender is very basic term here, very initial term, and before and prior to award this happens. Tender, which is very common and everybody knows it. What is tender? Means contractor is invited. Contractor is invited to do some job and offer its price for that. Simply, that is tender. Tender means it came from word intention. May intention, I have intention. You show your intention. You show your interest that I want to do, I can do this work for this price. Tender means contractors signed offer. Actually, it is saying contractor, but here contractor means profession. Though it's a tender, it's a bid, contract term does not apply here, but because profession of that organization is contracting, so that is, you can say, relative term. like engineer, like doctor. Though you are not appointed engineer, you are not appointed doctor, yet you can say, he's my doctor, he's my engineer, likewise. So it's tenderer rather than contractor at that time. Or you can say bidder. You can say bidders or you can say bidders or tenderers signed offer for works. Signed offer for works, or you can say joint venture undertaking if that applies, and all other documents which contractor or tenderer submits with tender, whatever other documents, schedules, conditions, or whatever else, as included in that final contract. These are all documents, and you can say contracts. And we know temporary works, as we explained also. Temporary works means all temporary works of every kind other than contractor equipment required on site for execution of works. ठेका करार जो हम बता रहे आखिर है क्या? एक व्यक्ति जिसको हम टेंडरर कहते हैं, जिसको हम कॉन्ट्रैक्टर कहेंगे बाद में, अगर वो वर्क उसको मिल जाए, वो उस वर्क को मिलने से पहले लिख के देता है कि मैं ये काम करूँगा, इतने पैसे में करूँगा, इतने समय में करूँगा, या आपने जो लिख के दिया मैं उसको मानता हूँ, उसको हम कहते हैं टेंडरर। और टेंडर इस बात का होता है कि इस टेंडर के अंदर इस डॉक्यूमेंट जो आपने हमें दिए हैं, इसमें जो भी दिया गया है हम वो काम करेंगे और उसके बदले में हम इतने पैसे लेंगे। सिंपल सी बात है। और जब ये काम हो जाएगा पूरी तरह से, आप इसको हमसे ले लेना, हम इस पे काम करेंगे इतने पीरियड में, तब तक ये हमारे काम के कंट्रोल में रहेगा। उसके बाद सब कुछ कार्रवाई आप कीजिए और इसको ले लीजिए। टेकिंग ओवर सर्टिफिकेट। टेकिंग ओवर सर्टिफिकेट इशूड बाय एम्प्लॉयर, और इट इज अंडरस्टूड टू बी इशूड बाय एम्प्लॉयर in accordance with employers taking over terminology or taking over condition। ऐसे ही सब तरह की कंडीशंस हैं, टर्मिनोलॉजीज हैं। सब कॉन्ट्रैक्टर क्या होता है, व्हाट इज सब कॉन्ट्रैक्टर? आप कॉन्ट्रैक्टर हैं, आपने काम किसी और को दिया हमारी परमिशन से, ये आदमी करना चाहता है, हम उसको दे रहे हैं, वो आपका सब कॉन्ट्रैक्टर है। उसका रिलेशन आपसे ज़्यादा है, हमसे कम, लेकिन जिम्मेदारी हमारे काम की वो ले रहा है, इसलिए वो हमारा भी है। सब कॉन्ट्रैक्टर मीन्स पर्सन नेम्ड इन कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एज सब कॉन्ट्रैक्टर और appointed by contract whosoever as subcontractor or designer for a part of works and legal successors entitled to each of these persons। याद रखिए, ठेकेदारी में, करार करने में अकेला वो ही उत्तरदायी नहीं है जिसने साइन किए हैं। अगर उसकी लाइफ को कुछ होता है, आदमी की डेथ हो जाती है, तो उसके जो भी पावर होंगे, इनके पास मरने के बाद की पावर्स, बेटा बेटी बीबी जो भी, उन सब की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ऑटोमेटिकली आ जाती है उस व्यक्ति के मरने के बाद उस कॉन्ट्रैक्ट की। इसलिए कॉन्ट्रैक्ट कभी नहीं कह सकते कि इसकी जिम्मेदारी किसकी। कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एक लीगल हेरिडिटी है। भी होंगे तब भी कॉन्ट्रैक्ट तो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट है। इसलिए बहुत सोच समझ के इसका एग्जीक्यूशन होना चाहिए। ये कोई कमोडिटी नहीं है कि हमने खाई और फेंक दी बाजार से लेके। गाजर मूल्य नहीं है, खाने का सामान नहीं है, बिस्कुट का पैकेट नहीं है। दिस इज कॉन्ट्रैक्ट फॉर वर्क्स। आप नहीं, आपका बच्चा चलेगा उसकी जिम्मेदारी पे, ये जरूरी होता है। और स्टेटमेंट क्या है? स्टेटमेंट मीन्स ए स्टेटमेंट सबमिटेड बाय कॉन्ट्रैक्टर एज पार्ट ऑफ एन एप्लीकेशन फॉर पेमेंट। पेमेंट क्लेम करने के लिए आपको स्टेटमेंट देना है, मेरा इतना काम हो गया है, मेरी इतनी पेमेंट बनती है, पिछली बार आपने इतने दी और अब तक का काम इतना, पिछली बार के निकाल दें तो अब मेरा बैलेंस इतना। उसमें फर्दर रिकवरी भी हो सकती है, वो बाकी बात है। दैट इज व्हाट से स्टेटमेंट। एंड ऑल दिस मीन्स स्पेशल प्रोविजंस। स्पेशल प्रोविजंस मीन्स डॉक्यूमेंट एंड टाइप क्या है, स्केड्यूल पेड्स क्या है, ये सब चीज़ें चलती रहेंगी कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में, और ये सब चलता रहेगा। ये बड़ी बड़ी डेफिनेशंस समझाने के लिए मैंने इसमें इतना टाइम लिया। जस्ट ट्राई टू लेट यू नो व्हाट आर दीज एक्चुअली, अदरवाइज यू नो देम बट everybody does not know them. It's better to have more clarification on this because we are going to deal with contract and it's not easy task. अब कॉन्ट्रैक्ट की इंटरप्रिटेशन कैसे होती है, दैट्स ऑल्सो एन इम्पोर्टेंट पॉइंट। इंटरप्रिटेशन ऑफ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट। कॉन्ट्रैक्ट हमने कर लिया, बड़े खुश हो गए, बधाइयाँ दे दी, ओ कॉन्ग्रेचुलेशन गॉट दिस कॉन्ट्रैक्ट। मैं कॉन्ग्रेचुलेशन नहीं दूंगा, किस बात की? अरे भाई बिजनेस है भाई, इट्स ऑक्यूपेशन। क्या आप हर रोज जो सामान किसका बिकता है दुकान से कॉन्ग्रेचुलेट करते हैं उसको जाके, आपका सामान बिक गया? या भाई प्रोसीजर है, बिजनेस है। या हम इसलिए कहते हैं कि बड़ा अमाउंट है, इट्स बिग वन, दैट्स हाउ यू से दैट। वेल इट्स सोशल डीलिंग, इट्स समथिंग एल्स, आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग दैट। आई एम very serious about contracts because you cannot avoid contract, and contract is only, in majority of cases, is only how we live, how we work. That's very important part of this contract. I have to be serious about that. This point is very serious here. I have to be very serious about this contract, and because contract it is engineering one, it's not sales market exclusively, that you go to fish market or chicken market or vegetable market or food market and buy some items, pay for that and come back and then forget. Even if that item is not good for you, you won't do any action, you won't take any action. If your vegetables are not good, you will say, okay, leave it. I take out skins and throw whatever is bad and use good part. So you will say there is no liability in that. There exists no liability in those types of acts. We have to be very clear about this. हमें ये समझना होगा यार, ये अलग चीज़ है। हम यहाँ जिम्मेदारी ले रहे हैं कॉन्ट्रैक्टर के हैसियत से, और मेरा कस्टमर जो एम्प्लॉयर है, मेरा कस्टमर तो होगा ना। इस तरह आप देखें, मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ, मैं काम कर रहा हूँ कॉन्ट्रैक्टर का। मेरा एम्प्लॉयर मेरा कौन है? मेरा and I am seller of my product. Conditions are agreed, documents are available, and these are customers' documents, and I have to respect those documents because I am bound to give customer satisfaction. This means I have to satisfy my employer, who is my customer, and if I can satisfy my employer based on in relations to those documents which employer wants me to do this directly or through engineer, then I can say it's customer satisfaction because indirectly I have satisfied those who would be end user of this my service of contracting. See, its interpretation is not what direct it is. This is only theoretical interpretation that we written here, but its impact is varying. You can take examples of promoters, builders, real estate makers. What are they? They are a kind of intermediate you can say, railway stations or flight airports. They promoters don't use your product. In fact, they sell your product. Same way, builder, impact, all those they get it through you and make profit on that by delivering someone else. And one stage comes when that end person who cannot sell it or who doesn't sell it but uses that product. So your customer is that one, and that customer is satisfied because it's satisfied work. And I don't say satisfied customer, it's satisfied work. If I produce good structure according to requirements, according to contract documents, or according to good industrial practice and specifications and every codes and all that, means I did my job according to engineering professional requirements, and then it means I satisfied those documentary requirements. This means I satisfy provisions that were mandated by my customer, my employer, and of course my would be end customer, and that is end user. Where to understand something in details like this, because we are engineers and we are not just translators. I cannot translate only, I can understand what's my job. And that's where I say that everyone works for people, because we are we are a part of society, and we are part of nation, and we are part of infrastructure. We pay taxes, everything is done by taxes. This means our relation to engineering and engineering quality are integrated. If we disintegrate, we do losses to ourselves. हमें अपने आप को समझना है, हम हैं क्या? क्या हम एहसान कर रहे हैं किसी पे? कॉन्ट्रैक्टिंग में क्वालिटी देके या मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में क्वालिटी देके? मैं नहीं समझता हम एहसान कर रहे हैं किसी पे. भाई, जॉब है, आप पैसा ले रहे हैं, रिटर्न्स ले रहे हैं, तो आपको भी तो रिटर्न करना पड़ेगा. दिस इज रिक्वायरमेंट. जब आप टिकट लेते हैं, फ्लाइट लेते हैं, ट्रेन की सर्विस लेते हैं, वो आपको पहुंचा देता है वहाँ. यू रीच योर डेस्टिनेशन एंड यू बाई ए टिकट, you travel that distance and you reach safe. And if you don't reach safe, there is some complexity due to accident, due to injury. That company which gave you ticket, from which you bought, that company becomes responsible for whatever complications come in or whatever portions of that contract work for. Same applies here. You are a contractor, I am a contractor, say. It's my duty to do job This should be clearly understood by everyone. Forget law and forget all. It's your duty to do your job. You know your job. I don't say don't know. Contractors know their job. But because of many factors, contractors play with that. Many complain that I have to pay this much commission or I have to pay this much inducement. It happens. It happens because of corruption, because of greed, because of that or this. But that is not my part. As an engineer, it's not my part. If you are paying commission, it's not my problem. It's not my duty problem. And it's not in my responsibility to think on that. That is your problem. My job is that I am appointed in whatever capacity, in whatever way. I have to make sure that whatever contractor does, and it's on both part, even personnel of contractor itself, they have a duty to make sure whatever they do, whatever activities they perform, these clearly would indicate work is done according to requirements. And I think that is very important point. We have to understand brilliantly, and if we fail to understand that, it means something is wrong somewhere. लंबा लंबा बोलने का फ़ायदा नहीं है, पॉइंट से पॉइंट मैं भी वही बात कर रहा हूँ. कॉन्ट्रैक्टर को समझना होगा वो कोई एहसान नहीं कर रहा है एम्प्लॉयर पे, और एम्प्लॉयर को भी समझना होगा वो कोई ख़ास एहसान कॉन्ट्रैक्टर पे नहीं कर रहा. ये एक्सचेंज है, इतना काम करो और ये पैसे लो. आपकी जिम्मेदारी है क्योंकि मैंने आपको काम दिया है, आपने ऐसा काम मुझे करके देना है, और अगर इसमें डिफेक्ट आया तो भी उत्तरदायी आपका. इट्स यू हु आर रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर दिस. यू आर माई एक्सपर्ट बिकॉज आई कैन नॉट डू माई सेल्फ. आई एम नॉट एक्सपर्ट, सो I got you as my contracting expert, as my production expert, and I bank upon you, I rely upon you. Upon you means upon your job, that you will not deceive me, you shall not cheat me, you shall do whatever you are paid for, and I should be happy with you if you do this service to me. That's what contract is. And whatever data, whatever bindings, whatever limitations do exist in contract, if these are practical, if these do not contravene laws, these are all valid. These are all valid and for which we have agreed. Voluminous documents in contract, voluminous, you can say hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, thousands and thousands. But those are natural documents, technical documents, contractual documents, specifications which are also drawn by engineers. Means technical documents and natural documents, but natural I cannot say, but technical documents are very clear to everyone. Everybody is clear about that. What is technicology, what is contractual? Contractual documents are not clear to many engineers. That's the efficiency of engineers. How can you run away from that? It's your part. You may do this, you may do design, you may do construction, you may do whatever. How can you understand contract without going through contract? Contract is not mathematics. You cannot understand. You are an engineer, you know mathematics also. Maybe a doctor is not clear about that. But if an engineer says, I can't understand that, you understand only cost. How do you can stand on work. Only subordinates like junior, like residents, they take care of works. I know those who work in supervision of contracts. They are better in contracts understanding than those who work in field, site field, you can say, or execution part of contract. Because there's a difference. Those who are responsible for supervision of works, they are interested in pointing on the contractor that this is your problem, this is a problem here, and this is a problem here. I can't approve this or that. Because they go through conditions, they go through codes, they go through procedures. They are busy, they are occupied there, and contracts guys occupied how to push, how to get more work done. Thorough knowledge nobody has. And I should say, engineering work says that you should be thorough in every act. You should understand what is to be done, what is required. And if you understand that, that is beautiful, that is fantastic. Now, how do you interpret contracts? There are so many words, terms, terminologies which are very common, and you know many of them. Even if you open some statute or Parliament Act, you will find certain definitions everywhere. Or you go to read General Clauses Act. That's act in every country, maybe in our country as well. General clauses means you'll find definitions of certain terminologies of clauses which are very repetitive. It shall be interpreted that one in General Clauses Act. Same way in contract also we give certain interpretations, that is international level interpretations and national level interpretation. For example, here is written in contract except where context requires otherwise. Context requires otherwise, except with that. Otherwise, everything is like this. It says words indicating one gender. Words indicating one gender include all genders. And he, his, and her, himself shall be read as he or she. Indicating singular also include plural. Words indicating singular also include plural, and words indicating plural also include singular. क्या मतलब है दोनों का? हमने कहा भाई यहाँ ही है, यहाँ हिज है, इसमें मतलब दोनों से, लेकिन दोनों लिख दो, क्या फर्क पड़ने वाला है? जहाँ सिंगल वर्ड आना है वहाँ प्लूरल भी उसका है, और जहाँ प्लूरल है वहाँ सिंगल भी उसका है। ये अंडरस्टैंडिंग है, इसके लिए अलग से बहस करने की आवश्यकता नहीं है। और ये आपने ही लिखा, शी नहीं लिखा, कोई बात नहीं है। हम यहाँ इंग्लिश सीखने नहीं बैठे, कॉन्ट्रैक्ट का मतलब सीखना चाहते हैं। दिस इज नॉट अ प्लेटफॉर्म टू लर्न इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज or some other language. This is a platform for understanding provisions of contract. Contract क्या कहता है हमको ये देखना है, शायद ना ध्यान करें हम साइन करते वक्त, जल्दी जल्दी में साइन कर देते हैं, या भाई हमें कॉन्ट्रैक्ट लेना है साइन कर दो, कोई बात नहीं है। वेल, ऐसा भूंडर होता नहीं है, सब नॉर्मल चलता है। प्रोविजंस इंक्लूडिंग वर्ड्स एग्री, agreed or agreement require agreement to be recorded in writing. एग्रीमेंट इन राइटिंग होते हैं, होने चाहिए, अगर नहीं हुआ तो बाद में होगा। प्रोविजंस इंक्लूडिंग वर्ड एग्री, एग्रीड और एग्रीमेंट रिक्वायर एग्रीमेंट टू बी रिकॉर्डेड इन राइटिंग, लिखना ही पड़ेगा, नहीं भी है तो मानना पड़ेगा, तो सबूत हो जाए ये एग्री किया, तो ये ऐसा ही माना जाएगा, एग्रीमेंट लिखा होना है। रिटन और इन राइटिंग मीन्स हैंड रिटन, टाइप रिटन, प्रिंटेड और इलेक्ट्रॉनिकली मेड एंड रिजल्टिंग इन ए परमानेंट रिकॉर्ड। मे मीन्स पार्टी और पर्सन referred to has choice of whether to act or not to act in matter referred to. But I'm not running away. It means ऑप्शन है, चॉइस है, इसे मैं करूं या नहीं करूं, या अभी करूं या बाद में करूं। मे मीन्स MAY, मे मीन्स पार्टी और पर्सन refer to has choice of whether to act or not to act in connected matter or refer. Shall means person or person referred to has an obligation under contract to perform duty referred to. Shall एक बाइंडिंग दे रहा है, बाइंडिंग है आपके ऊपर, आपको ये करना होगा। हालांकि हर बात में विल, छोड़ो उसको। Shall means party or person referred to has an obligation under contract to perform duty referred to. जो भी काम दिया गया है कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में किसी भी व्यक्ति को, किसी भी पार्टी को, उसको वो करना ही पड़ेगा। ये हाँ मे और शैल का फर्क। मीन्स शैल इज ए मैंडेट एंड मे इज ए चॉइस ऑन पर्सन। एम्प्लॉयर ऑफ कॉन्ट्रैक्टर, एम्प्लॉयर हो कॉन्ट्रैक्टर हो जो भी हो, एग्रीज टू और गिव्स परमिशन फॉर रिक्वेस्टेड मैटर्स। हमने जी कॉन्सेंट ले लिया एम्प्लॉयर की, कह देते हैं, ठेकेदार भी अपनी कॉन्सेंट दे देता है इंजीनियर को या एम्प्लॉयर को। इनसे एम्प्लॉयर हो या कॉन्ट्रैक्टर हो, किसी भी बात को मान लेना, अपनी कॉन्सेंट दे देना, भी यू कैन से एग्री करें, परमिशन दें उस बात के लिए जो पूछी गई है। कॉन्सेंट मीन्स एम्प्लॉयर और कॉन्ट्रैक्टर एग्री टू और गिव्स परमिशन फॉर रिक्वेस्टेड मैटर इंक्लूडिंग इंक्लूडिंग है, इसमें हम कह रहे हैं इंक्लूड, इंक्लूड्स। Execute works. Execute works means design, construction and completion of works and remedying of whatever defects. Execution of works, काम करना है, इसको कहते हैं execution of works। जो भी डिज़ाइन है आपने किया या करना है, वो भी एग्जीक्यूशन है कि डिज़ाइन आपको करना है। मीन्स डिज़ाइन भी एक काम का हिस्सा है। आप नहीं कह सकते कि साइट ही काम का हिस्सा है, डिज़ाइन भी एग्जीक्यूशन में आता है। कंस्ट्रक्शन, निर्माण करना साइट पे और उसको कंप्लीट करके देना, और अगर कोई कमी पेशी गलती रह गई उसको भी ठीक करना। एग्जीक्यूट वर्क्स और एग्जीक्यूशन ऑफ वर्क्स मीन्स डिज़ाइन, कंस्ट्रक्शन एंड now we have to move further with an understanding of maturity. It says, in whatever list in these conditions, where second last item of list is followed by and. See, it's something very important here for point of understanding. Something is followed by and or and oblique or. Shall also be read और हो किसी बात के बाद में, उसके मतलब दोनों हैं, इसके साथ एंड भी चलेगा या second last item of list is followed by and or and or then all of list items going before this item shall also be read as if they are followed by and or and or as case may be. Marginal words Marginal words and other headings shall not be taken into consideration. In इन शर्तों को समझने के लिए, जानने के लिए, इनके मतलब निकालने के लिए, चाहे वो हेडिंग हो या मार्जिन में कुछ लिखा हो, कमेंट्स हो, रिमार्क्स हो, उनका कोई मीनिंग नहीं है। सिर्फ शर्त की जो कंटेंट्स है को समझना के लिए एनालिटिकल माइंड आपको चाहिए. यू नीड एनालिटिकल अप्रोच, conditions as such, and find certain answers from those available there. We are talking of communications here. After all, what is communication? We have taken this also in our title, communication, correspondence, or you can say coordination. It's very important aspect, very important aspect. Important to an extent that it can change meaning also. But communication should be clear, explicit, without fails, without doubts. It's very important that we have to with this, have deal with this. समझ नहीं सकते. संचार समझने के लिए आवश्यक है और संचार बिल्कुल साफ होना चाहिए. It should be very very clear, explicitly clear. There should exist no doubt that we understood with this and then we agreed something else. That should not happen. It can be avoided and it has to be avoided. We cannot fool ourselves. We cannot fool ourselves. That is beauty of contract. You have to understand that point as well. Clear communication, साफ साफ संचार बहुत आवश्यक. कन्फ्यूजन ठीक नहीं, और हम लोग कन्फ्यूजन कर देते हैं. We can cause confusion, we can cause mix-up if we are not clear, and that creates problems, and that's where, if communication is not clear, then coordination can also be problematic. Say everything in writing, but your communication communicates with others. It informs them what they have to do. If it is clear, they will understand clear. If it's partly clear, they will understand partly clear. Or if something else, they will understand something else. Responsibility of engineer is much more than responsibility of all of us, because engineer stays every day there, every night there. We have to understand this point. Engineering is something dependent on communications. Wrong communication means wrong message, and you can say bad communication means bad message, like bad sketch, incorrect drawing, incorrect section, all can cause person tells another person, and in this chain of communication, we can miss at every point something, or whatever expected had to go. But